Okay, sorry. So on the episode 18, Emperor Chen's invitation. So Master ZhiZhe actually have declined Emperor Chen 6 times because to him time is not right, and he felt that Emperor Chen only expresses his personal desire, not his sincere respect for the Buddha's teaching. And on the episode 19, Return to Qingling, so Master ZhiZhe finally accepted the Emperor Chen's 7th invitation, for his poem had the fragrance of respect for the Dharma and the priority for the people and humble virtue. Episode 20, Master ZhiZhe expounded Lotus Sutra in Chen Dynasty and had a dream of Tongling Temple which he have not been. So in chapter 21, we will go through the journey of Master ZhiZhe at the Tongling Temple. And Chen Dynasty was perished and fell in the hand of Emperor Yang Guang, that is the Prince of Jin. Even Chen Dynasty had accepted Buddha's teaching, the kingdom cannot sustain. All are due to the collective karma of the kingdom. Okay. So now I'll go to the, I will share the Great Master, Dharma Master ZhiZhe, episode 21, based on my limited understanding. So I have divided this episode into 5 scenes. The first scene is at the Tongling Temple. Second is the Prince of Jin determination to invite Great Master ZhiZhe. Third scene is Master ZhiZhe politely declined the invitation. And scene number 4 is Master ZhiZhe accepted invitation with condition. And scene number 5 is the precept ceremony for Yang Guang, that is Prince of Jin. Okay, scene number 1 at Tongling Temple. So when Master ZhiZhe and the monastic reach to the Tongling Temple, so the scene and everything was the same as what Master ZhiZhe had dreamed of. So one of the disciples asked Master ZhiZhe, why do we come to this Tongling Temple? There are so many mountains and places. So Master ZhiZhe says that it could be guided by the mind through a dream. So it's the power of the mind where the dream and the actual place is exactly the same. And another reason it could be the affinity with Master Huiyuan, who actually cultivated in this Tongling Temple, and he also formed White Lotus Society and teach Lotus Sutra in this temple, which attracted Master ZhiZhe, who also specialized in Lotus Sutra. And Master Huiyuan also stayed in this temple for cultivation and never leave this mountain. And he is also a disciple of great Master Tao An, who is an eminent and highly illustrious Buddhist monk of the Eastern Jin dynasty. Okay, so perhaps when Master ZhiZhe was saying that Master Huiyuan stay in this temple for cultivation and never leave the mountain. So the disciples says that whether it is in the mountain or the imperial palace, we will always follow you, and it is all good for our practice and cultivation. So Master ZhiZhe then says that as long as our aspiration to attain liberation and be free of suffering remains the same, we can cultivate anywhere. So spiritual practice is all about training the mind to be tranquil and still, and we can engage in spiritual cultivation at any place. As we interact with people and matters, we must know that our mind is where we engage in spiritual practice, and everywhere is place for spiritual cultivation. We must always maintain this mindset as we interact with others. My learning for this scene is that, just like Master said, cut woods, carry water, eat or drink are spiritual cultivation. In ZhiZhe, it's our spiritual training ground. We volunteers are spiritual practitioners who cultivate and apply the Dharma that we learn. While we give of ourselves in various ZhiZhe activities, we meet with various people, matters, and objects with different background and perspective. With that, we volunteers bound to have interpersonal conflicts due to the difference in opinion. However, if we apply the Dharma that we learn, Whatever we say will be Dharma, and whatever we listen will be a teaching. We safeguard our mind to be tranquil and still. Therefore, we can engage in spiritual cultivation at any place. So scene number 2, Prince of Jin determination to invite Great Master ZhiZhe. Prince of Jin was a wise and kind leader. He actually had gathered many prominent Buddhist masters to his kingdom and expound Dharma to brought peace to people's mind. He shared to his minister that he had invited Great Master ZhiZhe for 3 times but was declined. He was curious why he was being declined. Is it my virtue or moral not good enough? He is pondering. And he actually has aspiration to be a king of all people. He have learned from many masters on how to rule an empire. He have faith in Buddha's teaching, which are full of wisdom. Buddha's teaching which have full of wisdom, which he wanted to master so that he can cultivate his wisdom and shall become a magnificent emperor. He will continue to invite Master ZhiZhe to his kingdom for well-being of his people and developing his wisdom. From this, my learning is we must have faith in Buddha Dharma so that we can open our heart to learn Buddha's teachings and apply in our daily life to attain more realization and wisdom. We must always earnest to listen and learn Buddha's teachings. We listen, we contemplate and practice the Buddha Dharma. We uphold the precepts, samadhi and wisdom, able to carry out things in harmony and wisely. This is one of the sutra verses that I have picked. Buddha's wisdom is like lightning, brilliant and quick, bringing flashes of illumination everywhere. The Buddha Dharma is like a lamp shining. As long as we take the Dharma to heart, our mind will be filled with light. The Buddha's birth is like the dawning of a day. Okay, scene number 3. Master ZhiZhe politely declined the invitation. Master ZhiZhe actually have declined the invites from powerful authorities. First from Emperor Emissary, Emperor of Chen, there is a Prince of Jin. He invited 7 times and declines. He only agreed on the seventh invitation, and then he also declined the Prince of Jin, who have invited 4 times. Reason given was that his own virtue was not good enough. And he recommended other prominent monks and one of his disciples to give teaching. Master ZhiZhe actually do not favor the glory and honors because they are of no values. He want to focus in spreading the Buddha's teaching, and he don't want to be limited by the imperial authority. Finally, Master ZhiZhe accepted the 4th invite from Prince of Jin, but with condition to avoid the interference from imperial authority, which will interfere in his spiritual cultivation and spreading of Buddha's teaching. Just like Ciji, the 10th precept, no participation in political activities or demonstration. When we uphold precept, we will be able to be in the state of samadhi and wisdom. In the state of samadhi and wisdom will be revealed. That is the spiritual growth. By upholding precept, they safeguard against wrongdoing and stop evil. In our mind, we must never allow a moment of ignorance to make us lose our spiritual aspiration or allow our afflictions to increase. So we must uphold the precept and have patience, for without them, we cannot have a pure and simple mind and be at ease. Samadhi means constantly engaging in right thinking. Regardless of our external circumstances, we must pay attention to our thinking, which means putting the Dharma into practice and never allowing our thinking to deviate. We must not allow the field of our mind to stray. This is very important. It is our homework as spiritual cultivators to train our mind, and it is a long, long journey before we could achieve the enlightenment. Finally, for the scene number 4, Master ZhiZhe accepted invitation with condition. So Master Zizhe have many consideration. So he have accepted with condition. The first condition is, shall not teach profound meditation to Prince of Jin, shall not follow worldly rituals, ceremony, and etiquette, shall come and go at my free will. Prince of Jin shall not persuade me to stay. So to Prince of Jin, he actually respected Master Zizhe with his virtue. He is not an ordinary person, and he's best in expounding the Dharma. And cultivation of concentration and insight are has surpassed those before him. He achieved state of meditation. Level of wisdom is extraordinary. Admire his great excellence. Can deliver living beings and help them to pure land. Prince of Jin has sincerity and deep faith with Master Zizhe. To Prince of Jin, acceptance with condition from Master Zizhe is not a condition. And will respect Master Zizhe's request, looking forward to meet Master Zizhe and longing to listen to his teaching. He will welcome Master Zizhe personally and have vegetarian feasts for thousands of monks to welcome Master Zizhe. Prince of Jin and everyone in the kingdom were eagerly waiting for Master Zizhe's arrival. His words are most valuable and rare treasure. So on the scene number 5, the precept ceremony for Yang Guang, that is a Prince of Jin. So Master Zizhe preached to Prince of Jin at Changzong Temple. Master Zizhe said, it is good that you have sincerity in learning the Buddha's way. May Buddha become the most important teacher in your heart and mind. Likewise to us, daily when we meet with people, matters, and objects, we must have Buddha's mind as our mind and practice the 3 flawless studies, uphold precepts, samadhi, and wisdom, so that we will not commit wrongdoings and create karma. To heighten our vigilance, may you depend on Dharma as your support. Upholding humility and the goodness in you will rise. Buddha Dharma show us the way to the Buddhist sattva paths, which are wide and straight. As we walk, we are practicing and purifying our mind, and eventually our innate Buddha nature will appear. This is transformation in us, which is a long process. It takes kalpas and kalpas of lifetime. So then Master Zizhe will continue. Do not forget this day, and do not forget the vow you will make today. To me, this precept ceremony is like our commissioning ceremony, where we form our initial aspiration and make great vow to be Tzu commissioner, to shoulder the responsibilities of Tzu mission, and also Tathagatas. And Master Zizhe continue. He says, to carry out the way of a Bodhisattva, to me, is to volunteer ourselves in Tzu 4 missions and 8 footprint, to purify and transform ourselves and others, to deliver without any expectation, and to cultivate 6 paramitas and benefit all living beings. So 6 paramitas consist of giving, upholding precept, diligence, patience, samadhi, and wisdom. Okay, Master Zizhe also mentioned the 3 vehicles of Buddhism all lead to the realization of one's true nature. So 3 vehicle is like small, medium, and middle, and the great vehicle. So Buddha expound Dharma based on the capabilities of sentient beings. So he start off with the small vehicle, followed by middle and the great. So eventually it comes to the 1 vehicle. So this sutra verse says, from ancient time until now, the Dharma has been this way. Out of infinite virtuous Dharma, the Buddha taught the 3 vehicles. According to the people's capabilities, he gave suitable Dharma to transform their minds. When the Dharma resonated with their mind, they would comprehend the Dharma. So just like this building, okay, when building, they must have foundation, and slowly it will be built, and at the end is one building. So same principle, wondrous skillful means various methods that are all part of the one vehicle Dharma. Master ZhiZhe is very pleased with Prince of Jin's sincerity in making great vow and taking the precept ceremony. Master ZhiZhe preached the following after the precept ceremony. The land is unified with the imperial family who support Buddhism and practice the Buddha's way. So, Prince of Jin, the kingdom, take Buddha as his teacher and become a magnificent emperor. May our land filled with suffering become a place of peace and purity where Buddhism thrives. So may the Prince of Jin have a heart of loving kindness and compassion towards his kingdom. So to me, for this, my learning is in this, if the emperor or the ruler of the country have the Dharma in their heart, the country will be a good place, or the nation will be safe and peace. However, now in this evil world of five divinities, the world lives in chaos and not in harmony. If a country leader do not have right view and right thinking, this will lead to nations to suffer, such as the refugee crisis happened in few countries such as Syria, Myanmar, Bangladesh, etc. And in this turbid world, human minds are deluded and create so much of evil karma and face evil retribution. As a result, live in dire situation and suffer, either through the natural or man-made disaster. We need to transmit Buddha Dharma to purify people's mind so that the world will be free of suffering and live in peace and harmony. Okay, that's the end of my sharing for episode 21. Actually, I got two questions here. Over to you, Brother Joe.
Okay. So are you going to ask the question, or I can just go ahead and resume, or should I go ahead, or Sister LeeLee? Or
Yeah, please go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks very much. I think we have definitely seen everybody putting very much effort into all this, and I'm very grateful because I see that from last week and this week, from all these weeks, the quality of the sharing, including the details of every episode. And last week it was last week it was episodes, right? 3 episodes. I think it was definitely very high. Everyone put their effort into listening and watching very carefully, and then apply the teachings from Master Cheng Yen, which I think is very important. And that is exactly why Master wanted us to watch these, is to contemplate, from these stories of the history, these stories that actually happened in the history, where have we seen parallels, and how can we actually apply this to ourselves and to our current state? And I think that is very wonderful to see the principles and the events that we see in today's world and in the past world actually come together. That could also mean that we as human beings don't really learn, because we are still, I think, making the same mistakes. However, it is still good to see that the principles and the truth don't change through time, that we still make the same mistakes, but the answer remain the same. The answers always remain the same. So the couple of things that I wanted to provide the feedback on. So the very first part was heading to the Donglin Temple, and I think Sister LeeLee mentioned about guided by the mind through the dream. It's the power of the mind. I think in these stories, there are always elements of the mystical parts, of the unknown, of the, something that are more than can be explained by science, right now. Right? For example, if you've never seen it before or you've never been there before, then how would you know that it existed? Now, it is possible that it is a very similar place that you dreamt of, like you dream of a place A, and then you head to another place B, but it seems very similar. Now, everybody would tell you, all these people that had these dreams would tell you, even Master, okay, she had a similar dream before, let me share it with you later. But Master would be very detailed, very, very detailed to explain to you all the things, okay? Now, I am more of a science person, and I really think that this is my explanation for why this occurs, because it hasn't happened to me, so I had to try to rationalize this or try to explain how it might be. In my mind, I think that we are always looking for a destination, the place that we want to go. Now, the place that we want to go is I think it's this place sort of in our mind that we constructed. It has elements that fits all the things that we desire. For example, we desire perhaps mountain. We perhaps desire some type of an outdoor environment that is very that will inspire our tranquility, or inspire us to think and contemplate and to meditate, for example. So I would take in my mind the places that I've seen with mountains and clouds and trees and maybe a river. Okay, so all these things, I'll put them together in my mind, and it will become a place of my dreams, right? And then when I actually go to a place that has these similar elements, the things that I see actually would replace what I thought I saw, okay? And so it would seem like the dream looks exactly like this, whereas in the dream, it might have looked a little bit different. But, because the rivers look very similar, and we sort of, superimpose what we are thinking about with what we see right there, okay? So this is only my trying to be science explanation of why sometimes we see things that we dream of, things that we haven't seen before. And I think on some level, it's exactly like what Sister LeeLee said. It's the power of the mind, because sometimes we desire a certain state, but we don't know what it is yet. We can't verbalize it yet. But then when we see the actual thing, we go like, yeah, that's it. It's exactly that. But it wasn't that. It wasn't exactly that. But that's exactly what you want. So that's the power of our mind. We know what it is. We can't quite say it. But when we see it, we got it. And I think that's what Master is guiding us to do. Okay? This is the power of the mind, in that you can't quite understand from listening. You can't quite understand from seeing. But the moment that you do it, you got it. That's that, right? So I think I shared this before, in that, I could tell you how it feels like in the morning when we do the Dharma chanting, or when we sit in front of Master and listen to Master's Dharma talk in the morning. I can tell you all my feelings at that moment, how the air feels like, how hot it was, how every word sometimes, echoes through and you don't hear anything. I could tell you all about that, but you can't quite feel it until you are there. And then you will be hard pressed to explain to the next person how it feels like. And then you would tell them, well, you know what, you should go and see it for yourself. And then they will be like, yeah, you know, the moment you tell them, they probably have some mental pictures in their mind. And then they got there and they go like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I was thinking. But no, it wasn't exactly, because they didn't know what it was. Okay, so this is my somewhat scientific explanation for things that can't be explained just yet. Now, going back to what I talked about before, Master had said before about a very vivid dream. She said, and this is also a power of the mind now, and I believe her. I believe that it really, really, really happened. It was a time when she was treating for I think the illness of her mother, and I think she in the story she mentioned about cooking the making the medicine for her mother, but she mentioned that it was young, and it was already in the wooden cabin, 小木屋. Okay, and she remembered in her dream so vividly that there are two doors, and the mother was sleeping, was laying down on the bed on this side, and she was there cooking the medicine. And then a white-robed lady floated in, and then she said, Master said, she knew someone was there because she heard the sound, and it was a sound of cloud. So what is the sound of cloud? She didn't know, but it was a sound of cloud. So she went over, and the white-robed lady gave her the medicine. And that happened for 3 straight days. So I really believe that all these things happen because the mind is very powerful, that really wanted the mother to get well. Now, how do you explain the wooden cabin and all of that? I still think that it was in a cabin. It was in a wooden cabin. But was it that one? In my mind, I think it fits all the things, the elements that Master was thinking. But when she saw that wooden cabin, it superimposed onto what she had, and that was it. So I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I'm saying that the guiding, you know, wanting us to be a certain place, I think the power is definitely there. Whether it's through our Buddha nature that is calling out, or whether somehow the dream just happened, I don't know. And I don't think we probably never know about this. But I really think that the mind is a very powerful thing. And that leads into what I wanted to talk about, which was what the main topic here was. It's not where we are. As long as we have this heart, then the aspiration to cultivate is the same. And it's not where. So then what is the difference, right? What is the difference? So Sister LeeLee talked about, Master said, right, doesn't matter what you do. So it's not where, it's not what you do, right? You could be, you know, carrying water or carrying wood and all these things, right? You could be doing all of these things, but you could still be cultivating. So it's not where, it's not what, but it's also where. It is also what, right? It also matters what you do, also matters where you do it. For example, everybody wants to go back to the abode because it feels different, right? A lot of people, when they are cleaning, they don't clean home, but they go to the abode and they begin cleaning because it's different. So place still makes a difference. Things that you do still makes a difference, yet it doesn't make a difference. So what is it? Well, the only thing that makes a difference is the heart, is the mind. So that's the power of the mind. If you can control or try to put that power of the mind into the right direction, guide them to the right direction, then that's what Master is trying to teach us, is to, through activities or through these practices, that we will guide our hearts and thoughts and mind to a certain place so that it would not matter where, it would not matter what, it would not matter whom, but it will still be on the right path all along. Okay, so continuing on, it feels like the one thing that I see Master DMZhiZhe do is refusing to go to all these places, but ended up going anyway. So this is like the common theme for the Great Masters. It seems like all of them refuse at first and then agree to go, right? So that's just a very big conclusion. Yeah. So if you ever become a great monastic, remember to refuse first. Okay, refuse to go. Now, many people will be asking for you to go to these places. Refuse first, and then decide to go later, right? And so obviously, I'm only joking about this. But why? But why? So I think the previous last week it was like 7 times. All these times, right? And Emperor obviously has some wishes and desires for certain things to happen. But why did he eventually choose to go? And why did he eventually choose? Or why did he at first choose not to go? I'm sure it was very detailed and explained in the presentation. But one thing that caught my eye was Sister LeeLee talks about the 10th precept about not interfering or not participating in the political demonstration, and I think that was a good connection in that as a monastic, I think he was clear, but I think there was a point in there where I think that needed to be stressed. It's not to, it's sort of the reason for this precept. The reason for this precept was it was very applying to the current world, in that politics itself is a very divisive, and it's a very dark mentally, in that there isn't a very clear right or wrong, but it is something that very easily getting emotional. So this is once again power of the mind, but it was not guided in the right place. You put so much effort and so much energy into trying to guide people on the path that it is very difficult to say what is right or wrong. And I think in Taiwan, we get that a lot. And that is why rather than having people debating on something that you will never be able to get to the bottom of, right? How could you say which one is right, which one is more right than the other, right? You're gonna have 50% of the people saying one thing and then 50% of the people saying the other. So what is right? Rather than spending all this energy to debating what is right in a particular policy, it is more important to try to come out with, so what does the mind, what does the Buddha nature tell you? And that is exactly what I saw, and the joke that I made about, so after 7 times, Master DMZhiZhe decided to agree to go to Prince Qing's invitation. And after 4 times, he decided to. So what was the difference between the 4th and the 1st? What was the difference, right? The outcome is still the same. The outcome is all different, but what was the difference? So going back to what I was talking about was, politics is more interested at the results. If the result was the only thing that was interested, then you invite 7 times or you invite 1 time, it would be no different, because once you don't think that people will be different, right? You deny me once, you're gonna deny me all 7 times. But that wasn't the thing. Master wanted us to understand even the origin of your intention. What was it? If it's right, if it's sincere, and if it is something that fits what we want to do, what we need to do, then it is going to be something that I support. Even if it's the same thing, just an invitation. The invitation itself didn't change, but it's the intention, the origin of the intention that changed. So this is something that I wanted to convey, that probably I'm not very verbalizing it very well. But what I'm trying to say is that is one of the things that in politics, that is the reason why people are more care. They care more about the results. Who gets elected? What is the proposal? What was the law that was passed? What was this and that? They're all talking about the results. And to get to that results, you don't care about the process. And you don't care about, after the results, what happened to the process and what happened to the people that disagree or agree. Whereas what Master ZhiZhe was talking about here was a precise indication and precise example of why a religious person, a monastic, would look at this and see all the things differently. Because the first invitation to the fourth invitation has already been different. And therefore, the decision will be different because the origin of intention was different. So going a little bit deeper, I think there was accepted with conditions part. That part I wanted to go in a little bit more was, at first, I think, on the first invitation, the emperor was trying to perhaps benefit himself, and thinking that by having Master ZhiZhe here, it would be able to show everybody, show the court, show the people that we are doing well, and it is a very positive show. And if you would agree or understand that along the history, there were actually many great masters that were part of the court of the emperor, and they all have these different ideas. Some of them, grab these monastics as if they are objects, and making them part of their court and part of their system by sort of imprisoning them, pretty much. And because they believe that they have these powers. And they do. They have the power of persuasion because their intention is very pure. So whatever they say, people tend to listen. And in the world of turmoil, you need somebody to stand out and say things that people would listen to. You're the king, you're the emperor, you control people by the sword. But this virtuous person can actually persuade people to calm down without using the sword. So you want someone like that on your side. And that's what the emperors do. So maybe at first it was more so like that. So that is why Master ZhiZhe had all these conditions to say, no, you do not interfere with me on what I want to say and on what I want to do. And I'm not going to do all these ceremonies on your behalf. I'm not here to just do all these things. I really want to go out and reach out to the people so that they could learn to become a better person and to better adjust and adapt to the world that is quickly changing and going bad or trying to make it better. So I think he definitely has his ideals and ideas about what he wants to do. Lastly, I think Sister LeeLee mentioned about the importance of a leader, the importance of a leader of the country. And I agree that the leader who makes very important decisions for all these people. And I also agree that while the leader is very important, at the same time, he is the result of the collective karma of the people. So yes, the leader is important, but at the same time, he wouldn't be where he is without the guiding force of the collective karma of the people. So if you have a great leader, that is because the people of this country have collectively gather all these positive karma to have a great leader, 转轮圣王, the Dharma wheel turning king, to be able to come and dispel all the problems. And there's no more famine, no more disaster. That could happen. But at the same time, if the collective karma of the people is negative, is bad, then you would not be able to have a good leader. So on the flip side of that, this is the story that I shared many times. It was Master has shared about the president before, not about Taiwan, but it's about US. And Master has said that even if you elected a very capable, a very capable leader, capable person to be your president, if the collective karma of the people is very, very negative, then in the very crucial moment, in the very crucial time, this capable person will still be making the wrong decision. On the other hand, if the collective karma is very good, then even if you elected a not so capable person, then making the decision at crucial moments, it will still be the right decision. Because the guidance is in the people. The guidance is in the collective karma. So that is why Master chose not to meddle with politics, because that's not where the key is. The key isn't whether you have a good leader and doing the right thing or not. The basics is in the people. That is why Master said, purify the minds of the people. 净化人心. Because only with that would you be able to influence the country. Not just influencing one person. Yes, that one person is the one that makes the decision. But the decision that is good or bad is still depending on the collective karma of the people. So if you change or if you guide the collective karma of the people toward good, benevolent, then the decision that were made will be good for the people. And I think that was exactly what Master was trying to, and you also see that in the great masters. They wanted to make sure that as a king, you really look out for the people and try to guide a certain way. But sometimes, as we saw very often in all these great master series, is that the world is in turmoil. People are suffering. It is always easy to blame on one person, that it's that king's fault, it's that emperor's fault. And I would agree. The historians would tell you that is the reason. But what the historians can't tell you is that that is also the collective effort and collective karma of the people of the region as well. So I think right now, just like right now, you see this COVID-19, this epidemic that is spreading around. And it's not just in China, it's now more out to, say, Japan, Korea, in South Asia, Southeast Asia, in Taiwan. People are afraid now. Is that one person's fault? Is that one Central of Disease Control's fault for not disclosing this earlier? You could blame this on many people, but is it really? What did Master say? It's because it came from our desire to eat animals. There you go. If we can't change our habit, our ways of doing things, then it doesn't matter how good you appoint the CDC officials or WHO. It doesn't matter which country you put into WHO. You can fight all you want. The problem is still going to be there. That is not the solution. Yet people are usually fighting for the wrong solutions. And the simplest solution is right in front of you, but no one wants to reach out for that. That is also our collective karma. So thank you, Sister LeeLee. Your explanation has been very, very to the point. And also all the scenes, I think the 5 different scenes that you've broken down are all very good. And it always bring us back to all these very critical parts and critical moments. Thank you for having these discussions and having the time to put together this PPT. I think it's definitely very, it definitely brought us something very valuable. I'm sure it was made with your time that's also very valuable. So I think it definitely brought us some knowledge and some hopefully wisdom for us while we're listening to this. So thank you all. That's my feedback. And I hope that if there's some time, we can still discuss about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Johan, for the comments. Yeah, I learned a lot through this preparation of this presentation. And Brother Joe, I have actually 2 questions here. is on the PPT. May the fire of rebirth in the three rhymes cease to burn and spread. This is part of the wordings that is played in the episode 21. Brother Joe?
Yes, I'm reading this. Actually, no, I am not familiar, and it could very well be. I'm not sure. Does anyone have a feedback for this that is more well versed in this particular episode and what it actually says? I'm guessing. I'm inclining to think that perhaps that is. But I think it probably if it's talking about the three realms, it might not be the three evil realms. Okay, it might not be it may be, but it might not be. I'm not sure if Dr. Ho would also comment on this. I'm thinking it's not just talking about the three realms. I think it's talking about I think it's talking about 欲界、色界、无色界.
Is it the form, formless, and desire realms? Sorry?
Yeah, right. That's what I'm talking about. 色界、无色界跟欲界. Yeah, right. The three realms. That's what I'm also thinking about. I think it's more talking about that. But it's also talking about fire of rebirth. So yeah, that's yeah, the rebirth. So yeah, I'm also thinking about 欲界、色界、无色界. That's what was mentioned. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And what is the reason for Master ZhiZhe not teach profound meditation to Prince of Jin? Okay, so I as I mentioned before, and you probably know that I tend to have my own rationales for some of these things that happen. I'm sure there could be other reasons. I think it's, the meditation isn't suitable for everyone. And what I meant to say is this, right? I think samadhi is something that we all need to find. For example, like a healthy body is what we all need, right? But the way to get there is different. Some people work out, some people jog, some people eat healthily, right? Some people do all three. Now, some bodybuilders, they will work out, like many hours a day for 3 days a week. And I've seen stories, and heard stories where they pass out because they work out so hard. Now, that's one way to get to where you want to go, but that way doesn't fit for everyone. So having or heading to the goal of finding that tranquility to be able to think clearly is very important for everyone. But the way to do that is different from different people and different stages. And so my guess is, just like how Master didn't explicitly teach us the profound meditation, is that she intended for us to learn on a different path, not to say that path won't get you there, but at this stage, what is more suitable according to our capacities isn't this yet, but it's this. And that's where the instructor is very important, right? So if you go to a gym, you also have a trainer who will tell you at this moment what is the best suitable for you. And so at that moment, I think that Master ZhiZhe chose at the time that for Emperor, for Prince of Jin, it is not necessary, or it is not the right time to teach these techniques or teach these pathways. So that's my explanation. But I you know, there could be many reasons. But I always think of it this way, you know, whether it's not yet ready, not yet prepared, or the affinity isn't there yet. So there are many ways to talk about it. But I think it's all the same, that at this moment in our cultivation, for the vast majority of us, the pathway isn't there. It's not to say that it won't be there in the future, but it is very specific that at this moment, the master chose not to do this. So our master chose not to do us, not to teach us this, because she thinks that at this moment, it is not right for us, or it is not there yet. So she chose to teach us other things that is more pertaining to us right now. So that's my my feedback.
Okay. Thank you, Brother Joe.
Thank you. Thank you. I try my best. Look, trust me, I'm not, you know, I'm not that well versed in all the different sutras and all the different things, but I can just venture a guess. But I think everybody is free to pitch in to provide your thoughts, because I value your opinions very much as well. And you guys are all very learned, you know, very knowledgeable. And that's something I found there is no equal in your pursuit of knowledge. And I thank all of you online for willing to learn so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Sister LeeLee, Brother Joe, I want to share something. Actually, when few years back, I remember I watched the Footprint of Master Cheng Yen. I personally heard that Master Cheng say she don't encourage her disciple to do meditation. The reason why, because our master, she tried before her the meditation, and she entered to a stage of she saw a lot of fires. She saw like the stage, the environment itself is like a hell, something like that. I believe that the wording is like 走火入魔. So after that stage, our master, she says she don't encourage us to do meditation. This is what I remember a few years back.
Okay, thank you, Sister Tammy, for the explanation. Anyone else have any question? If not, then we will call it a day. Cảm ơn Brother Joe Huang and brothers and sisters for lots of heartfelt and wisdom sharing. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for your presence today. Hope that each of us could sustain the Dharma joy and take in another piece of Master's and Hualien love to our life. Let us please make 3 vows to the Buddha and Master Cheng Yen as we depart to apply these teachings in our daily living lives. Let us pay our respects to our teachers of life's universal truth. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Good night, everyone, and we'll see tomorrow. We'll see everyone tomorrow again.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Sister LeeLee.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.